This is a slab on grade, and it was a garage.
This was. They,
And
we
then
were
they
told
would-
this was a garage
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah, and so this is poured in place concrete, and it was always the garage for the main house. And maybe, and I got to go through the house.
So
before
then
I
they
speak.
joined the two together.
Yeah, something,
with their-
something took place. It doesn't make sense that they would have poured a slab on top of a block foundation, so they put in forms on the outside, poured it monolithically for a slab, which was the way they did it then, and that might be why this is concrete. That might have been done at the same time they put in the block. I'm not sure. I need to kind of look around and see how they framed it, see if I can analyze what they
Yeah.
were doing. So how do we get? Let me get back into this house.
So this is where you had last said, how do I get over here? This is where you are.
You can go this way.
I thought there was a way too. Yeah, there you go.
I want to get in the house again.
Yep.
It's a maze.
I know. You have no idea how much this is like the perfect house for me in that way. Every house I've ever had's got like multiple structures and. Okay, so front door's over here. And this is back around to where we started.
So this is definitely an addition from here to there.
Okay. So probably they just joined it between the two.
The question is,
Was that part
and
there?
what I'm trying to figure out is,
If the garage was there originally.
or was the garage built when the addition was?
Huh. Well, that would be weird, wouldn't it? That they'd pour on the garage and use
No,
the...
not if it's a slab. They're pouring the slab monolithically. They can't do a block slab.
Got
They
it.
have to pour concrete
That
for a
door's
slab.
open if you want to take a look.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's okay. So, from here over was the original house. Let's see what that looks like. So, yeah, this is the original house, all the way to here. Lath and plaster, and then they added this. See, this is round edge casing. This is oval. This whole section is oval. So was this built at the same time? Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, that ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Got a little dip to it in the
Yeah,
garage.
you think? It's failing too. It's starting to crack. That thing was under somebody.
I was
took
sort of
this
assuming
out.
this garage probably needed a pretty serious rebuild.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But whoop, geez, I'm knocking stuff off. Any rate, so this is an addition, and I don't know where the access is. I haven't seen it yet. To see what's going on. There's concrete foundation from here all the way around this way, and then there's beams and girders that go through here.
So can you repeat that?
Huh?
You said there's what?
Beams and girders
Got it.
through here. So this is a standard framing of the period, and it's doing real well. I mean, if you look at the windows and the building lines, the guys that built this were pretty good. I mean, there's some cracks through the middle, but
Yeah, and those cracks are those
huh?
are those indicative of anything with the foundation? Do you think, or
Well,
do you think
I
they're
don't think it's that important. What's happening is the expansion, contraction, clay soil, big ceiling, weak line. This is a weak point from there to there because it's a separation between a big section of ceiling and a smaller section. It could be a framing issue. But this section was better framed and better built, and you can see there's cracks all through here too.
Yeah.
They were just fixed. But there are going to be a lot of those when you raise a house. It's going to crack everywhere. And at that time, you could have an engineer check the framing on the roof and see if it's okay. The addition is in the garage were probably built at the same time because that's a lot weaker. It's not built as well as this part.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's not going to stay together. It just causes stress when you
Yeah.
move a structure like that.
Yeah, especially when they change the framing on you and they change the foundation, it takes more to jack it up. 'Cause I know which way the joists go here and the girders. The girders go this way, joist goes this way. This is organized.
At worst, would you ever cut the house in half and just would it be smart to rebuild only the back side and
No.
okay, so you still lift the whole
I
thing.
jack this side up, and that's going to be harder to jack up because I don't know how it's framed, and I don't trust the guys that built it. So it's going to be harder to lift. Also, if you look
But you
at the
can still
roof
lift
line-
it.
Oh, you can lift anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. They lift bridges, man, with little bladder jacks. You know, they're easy to lift. It's just the kind of torture that takes place.
Yeah.
The more, like some people, you had an old house like this and they had a porch in the back. Then they closed in the porch, furred it up so you couldn't tell the joist had fault because it was a porch. All those little addition things, you end up having to put cribbing and shoring in for those in order to bring it up together. So it makes more work to raise. And this is going to take 3 lifts. So basically, your jack extends about a foot. So if you have to go over 2 feet, it's 3 times. So they have to lift, crib.
Assuming it needs to go 3 feet higher.
Yeah, assuming it's 3 feet. I don't know where it is. I just looked at the house across the street.
Yeah, we would get
It's
the
probably 30 inches or so.
so I'm already in touch with the guy who does all the flood levels for the
He
creeks.
might know where it is right here.
He doesn't know. He didn't want to have his name on anything until he actually does a study, but he can do it in a month. So I would just offer based on assuming that I would have to lift it.
All right. So I'm going to give you an educated guess on, geez, original everything.
Yeah.
An educated guess on the lifting, but now that you don't have to do a foundation.
Oh, can you explain that since my sister,
Yeah,
who's
you're-
my consultant, is
Okay. The perimeter foundation on the original building is healthy enough, in my opinion. Although an engineer might disagree with you, you have to find the right engineer because an engineer is going to want to go way beyond the scope of work you do because he's covering his own butt and he doesn't want any liability. We have a saying in the construction business: the last guy that touched it owns it. So you may have to, get an engineer like Joe Buell or somebody that will focus on only what you ask him to and write enough CYA letters so that he doesn't feel like he's going to be involved in the future in some lawsuit. But so the foundation, it looks well vibrated and solid, and everything seems to be holding its lines. So I'm impressed with the work they did on the foundation, and more importantly, probably the bearing point on the foundation. They dug deep enough in here to get down to material that would support the house. Because, foundation's only as good as the dirt it's in.
right.
But then this portion of the house.
And then will you re-explain just that you wouldn't necessarily have to extend the foundation?
No, you don't. If the foundation is sitting on good material and it's healthy, all you have to do is raise the house and then frame in the space between the house and the existing foundation.
I wonder if that's what they did over there.
Possibly.
Yeah. He bought it afterward. Would you be able to tell just looking at it or no?
No, I have to
Okay,
go look at the
yeah.
foundation. Besides, he had a permit. I have to go look at that. But County of Marin doesn't save plans anymore. They only save the plot plan. Because there was a lot of liability. People would come in that wanted to do a remodel and ask to see the plans. They want to see the file. It's public information. They have to give it to them. And then they take the drawings and do something with them. And the guy who made the drawings has a proprietary right to those drawings. So they started throwing away all the drawings and just keeping the plot plan so they wouldn't have to deal with proprietary issues of them giving away somebody else's work.
Got it. So, so you're saying that you would raise it, but that you wouldn't raise the foundation. You would just basically frame it up. Ballpark
You're struggling with
costs. I know my terminology. Sorry.
No, I mean,
First time buyer.
with the idea of lifting it, yeah, no, it's a lot easier.
So cost range and
I'm
doing
going to be thinking about that.
Okay.
because I wasn't prepared
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, no
more
problem.
thinking of my end is foundation and drainage, so this is a little different. It's cheaper though. This area here, I don't know how they framed it or what they've done. I just know that it was done at a later date. I mean, I don't know if you were in here when we were talking about
Yeah,
it.
I caught that.
You caught the casings.
That's
that
probably
are
slab
trimmed.
on grade over there,
Yeah,
monolithically poured, and that's got
yeah.
the concrete block.
So I'm going to have to digest this and give you a call
Okay.
to give you an idea of what it would cost to lift this, and it'd be just an educated guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how this thing's framed. It could have joists going every which way.
Well, I guess the best
This
thing that
section
you could
might
do
be
is
in
tell
the-
me if we're lucky, it'll be X, and if we're really unlucky, it's
Yeah.
going to be Y. And
Well,
here's
this
your range.
section of the house will probably need a new foundation.
Okay.
It's not very big, so that's the good news.
Yeah. Just a bedroom and a bath.
It's
And you're talking about maybe this like 8 foot wide section, more or less, right?
No, he's talking about the bedroom
The
too.
whole thing, too?
Yeah. He's like it's so
Oh,
it's like
sorry.
from here to the garage. This
Right,
whole
got it.
section,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
basically it's
almost
one
the size-
bedroom, one bath, and a
Call it 12
mudroom.
feet.
It's about 400 square feet,
Yeah.
a little less, maybe 360
I don't know.
something.
12, 14 feet.
Yeah. So this section will need a new foundation, likely because it's a block foundation. It doesn't look real good.
And this is the side that's flooded, so maybe you pop it up a tiny bit higher or whatever. Just to, I guess if you're going up anyway. Yeah. So okay.
So the main house needs to be raised with no foundation issues. This one needs to be raised with foundation issues. And the garage is a big question. That's do you want to raise it? Because that's a slab on grade likely underneath all that wood framing. So you take out all the wood framing and take the front out and put in a beam, because no one's gonna draw this up without adding some earthquake to the front. I mean, you have to put in a probably shear walls and a beam or an iron frame and reframe the roof.
Is it smarter just to build a brand new garage? I mean, is the cost difference significant?
I don't know.
I mean, your average
Every
new
time
garage.
you start over new with something, you end up with all the new laws. So
Right.
it's
So maybe you're better off popping off the ceiling and starting over.
Yeah,
Got it.
Just do a remodel. I mean, why throw away the wood that's here? Just enhance it.
Yeah.
Why throw away? I mean, there's a frame in there somewhere, but we got to get a frame in to meet the earthquake standards.
Right.
And that frame will probably have to have enough pop in it. In other words, be strong enough to carry that wall in this addition. So that's about where you're at.
Okay. Anything else you want to say while I've got my
No.
camera on you? Thank you.
Yeah.